It's the newest and freshest edition of your Kingsport ChamberZone. Hello, one and all. Welcome to the show that's all about the city of Kingsport and your Kingsport Chamber of Commerce. I am Bob Figgins with your Kingsport Chamber.
Yes, you are.
She's my good friend and co-host, Laura Woods with Care Centers Management Consulting. And we're coming to you today from just an incredible agency, an organization that's known worldwide, not only for its very recognizable logo, but also because of the great work they do every single day helping so many people in need, the American Red Cross.
Yes, appropriately enough, we are coming to you today from the center that's known to respond to disasters.
Yeah, our show's finally made it here.
You already had the attorney on the show.
Yeah.
Now we've finally gotten our disaster relief location as well. The American Red Cross for Northeast Tennessee does have a fantastic new location on Eastern Star Road, some much needed space for all of the supplies and all of the volunteers and all of the services that they bring to you, not only in times of disaster and crisis, but also on a daily basis. They have so many services and so many great things that they bring to this community, from the disaster relief services that of course they are well known for, to also being with you and keeping you prepared when you are mobile. Yes, that's a preview, that's a tease of some of the things that we're going to reveal to you during our interview with the American Red Cross's Executive Director, Glenda Bobalik.
Also on your CZ today, we'll have a preview of another huge event coming back to Kingsport that's expected to draw 10,000 people in attendance. It's the 7th annual Racks by the Tracks, which is set for Saturday, May 17th at the Farmers Market in downtown Kingsport. The best craft beer, the best barbecue, and the best music all in one day, all at one location just for you. We'll tell you all about it and how you can get your tickets for this hugely popular festival.
And you'll need to get them quickly because they will certainly be selling out just like they have in years past. And to wrap things up, in case you haven't noticed, maybe all the yard signs didn't give it away, the billboards, the flyers that have been stuffed in your mailbox, I don't know. It's election year. Yes, it is time to get out and exercise your right to vote. And there's a very important project going on in Tennessee called the Informed Voters Fair Judges Project that talks to us about why it's important to have a fair and impartial judiciary. We will have Dan Coughlin and Bob Arrington, two gentlemen who are very familiar with the project and the need for an impartial judiciary, on our show to tell us more about it.
See, we've got disaster relief, beer, barbecue, and lawyers. Now, while that sounds like the start of a very funny joke, it's not. It's just another eclectic CZ in store for you today here on your Kingsport ChamberZone. But before we get to all of that great lineup of guests, let's take a look at your upcoming news and events with your Kingsport Chamber of Commerce. We are so pleased to be joined by our host for today's Kingsport ChamberZone. Glenda Bobalik is the Executive Director here at the American Red Cross. And Glenda, it's good to see you. Thanks for hosting us today.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming out to see us.
I think we have all seen or know about the great work the American Red Cross does, not only here in our community, but worldwide. So highlight this extraordinary agency for us.
Well, you know, our mission is to alleviate human suffering when there's an emergency or a crisis. And we do that through the wonderful volunteers that we mobilize. I mean, they are the heart of the organization and the reason that we can do the work that we do. And then through the generosity of the people who make the donations that allow us to provide our services.
Glenda told us Red Cross' second most recognizable brand worldwide.
Yes.
It is, and we're very proud of that. Working hard to get people to understand what the services are that are behind the brand, but very proud of the brand and what it symbolizes to people.
And I think for a lot of people what that does symbolize is they think of you all absolutely in times of disaster and crisis. You're the ones rushing to the scene whenever there's a natural disaster. You're the ones rushing to the scene if there's been a fire. But you provide a lot of other services on a day-to-day basis, specifically here in our area. So could you highlight some of those for us?
You know, we sum it up as saying that what we're working toward is a resilient community. It's one that when an emergency happens, whether it's in an individual's life or the community as a whole, that we have things in place to help us recover quickly and go back to being the strong, caring community that we are. So we work with people so that they know safety things like first aid and CPR, so when someone has a heart attack at their office, they know how to respond. Or we work with businesses to plan what they will do if there's a disaster and they need to be able to recover quickly because, you know, sadly, 40% of small businesses after a major disaster don't make it.
Wow.
So we work to get those plans in place and that preparedness and make this a resilient community.
Sure.
And something else you do locally is you offer a number of health and safety programs and courses, different classes throughout the year, both for individuals and for businesses and organizations. Tell us about some of those.
Well, we do, of course, the headliner, the one that leads the way, is the first aid and
Right.
CPR that we do. And those are very, very critical. All of us need to know basic first aid. And, you know, if something happens to one of your coworkers at work and they have a heart attack, you need to know what to do.
Right.
So we also teach classes on how to be prepared for different things that happen. We even have a class for children on how to wash their hands because that is a big part of keeping them in school, which is their daily activity. Just a variety of things, swimming. As we go into the summer months and everybody heads for the lake, we all need to know how to be safe when we're around that water.
Well, and you always welcome people to come down here, visit you face to face, take these classes, but you also make it very easy for people on their own time to learn about a lot of these services. And one way that you do that is through this bevy of mobile apps that you offer now. Talk to us about those.
We do. We have them for your smartphone, both the iPhone and the Android, so you can download them. They're absolutely free. And then with just a touch of your finger, you can have information, well, say on first aid. Say someone cuts themselves and you're not really sure what to do about the bleeding. With just a couple of taps of the screen of your phone, you get the steps that you need to take to help that person. Also, you know, it can be more severe. If someone's having a stroke or seizures, the steps are also on there to guide you. And then right now in our area, we're looking at what to do if there is a flood, make sure they have a plan for how their family will get together and be connected. All of those things are part of the apps, along with the warning system. I mean, it'll set up so your phone will really make a lot of noise. It's a way for us to help our community be more prepared.
Well, and the great thing about those apps too is, as you were pointing out before we even came on camera, is that, like, if you're traveling to the beach, for example, the hurricane app is a great app to have on there because, you know, we're not used to that type of weather because we don't normally have that here. And so being prepared in those situations is something that people might not necessarily think about.
That's right, and if you need to be evacuated, you need to know which roads to take and which way to go, and your mobile app can help you with that.
That's great.
Glenda, the American Red Cross would not be able to do the great work that you do each and every day without your incredible volunteers. So talk about some of the volunteer opportunities the Red Cross offers here, and how can someone become a volunteer?
You know, there are so many different ways and so many different skills. We have people who want to volunteer for us and utilize skills that they use in their day-to-day life. Other people who want to try something totally different. And so the wide variety does help with that. But all of our disaster relief is by our volunteers, so we have people who are going out when there is a fire and meeting with the family and interviewing them. When it's a larger disaster and we're serving meals, we have volunteers whose specialty is serving those meals and making sure we're doing that correctly and in the best way for everyone. But we have the behind-the-scenes people, too, the ones that want to keep up with the immense paperwork that we're able to generate during that same disaster, or help us with our computer operations, our communications, our marketing. The two of you would make absolutely wonderful communications volunteers for us, so that during a disaster when we need to be telling the community where they can go for help, we need people to be our spokesperson.
Absolutely. It's great opportunities for people to get involved, but if for some reason they don't feel like that's necessarily their forte, but they still want to help out, you always welcome funding from people in the community, so for them to make donations, other funding sources that you need as well. So can you talk to us about how that works as well as what you use the funds for?
Well, we are a United Way agency and very, very proud of that partnership. We are about 40% funded through the United Way, and the rest of it we hold events during the year to raise some funding and then count on the community and their generosity to provide us directly with the assistance that we need. So a lot of different avenues, but the wonderful people in our community supporting us is what's behind all of it.
That's great.
Glenda, as we mentioned at the top of the show, the American Red Cross has a new home here in Kingsport as you've moved to your new location here on Eastern Star Road. So tell us about your new location here and the decision to move here.
Well, we're very pleased to be here. You know, we're so incredibly fortunate. We were at our other location on Wilcox Drive for 52 years through the generosity of the Army and BAE, and before them Host and Defense. So that was wonderful for us. But we outgrew it, plus it was kind of falling down. And then the Army made the decision that they were going to consolidate their operations or rearrange their structure. So it all came together, and it was time for us to look at a new place to be. Here it is a very convenient place for us. The setup is wonderful for our operations, making them more efficient and us more effective. So we're very, very pleased with the changes that have happened and grateful for what we had in the past.
It's huge. People should definitely come down here and check it out because it's just a lovely space. So tell us where they can, tell us the address here as well as where they can get more information about the American Red Cross.
Well, we're at 660 Eastern Star Road in Kingsport, and everyone is welcome to drop in. We would love to see you. The best way to get information about us is through our website, and that's www.redcross.org/NETN, which stands for Northeast Tennessee, which is the area we cover. We're also on Facebook, American Red Cross of Northeast Tennessee, so join us there as well.
So, certainly a wonderful organization, Glenda Bobolic with the American Red Cross here in Northeast Tennessee. We're so fortunate to have you, very fortunate to have the Red Cross. It's one of those organizations that you don't necessarily think about until that time of crisis, and then you just realize how glad you are that you're available. So thank you for all that you do for our community. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Glenda. And when we come back on your CZ, we'll have a preview of this year's Racks by the Tracks Festival. Please stay with us.
Your Kingsport Chamber of Commerce Golf Scramble tees off Monday, May 12th at Ridgeville's. Tee times are 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. with great awards and whole prizes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner provided. Enjoy playing this Donald Ross masterpiece and support your Kingsport Chamber. Contact your Kingsport Chamber at 392-8800 or go to kingsportchamber.org. Your Kingsport Chamber Golf Scramble Monday, May 12th at Ridgeville's. Sponsored by Food City, Pepsi, Hunter Smith and Davis, and WKPT TV ABC 19.
And welcome back to your Kingsport ChamberZone on location from the new home of the American Red Cross here on Eastern Star Road in Kingsport.
So craft beer, delicious barbecue, and 11 hours of fantastic music. What do you think about that?
Sounds like the perfect hat trick, doesn't it?
Hat trick, nicely done, Bob, here in the season of sports. It is the perfect hat trick, and we have the people on the show right now who are going to be able to tell you how you get to participate in that, because we're talking about the fabulous Racks by the Tracks annual festival that is set to take place on Saturday, May 17th at the Kingsport Farmers Market. And without further ado, the two gentlemen who are responsible for it, Kanishka Badanda and James Phillips. Kanishka is the president of the Creative Trust Agency, co-founder of Racks by the Tracks. And if you have one co-founder, that means you have another one, and that's where James comes in. James is the other co-founder of the festival, and he's the director of all things that go on that day. So welcome to both of you all.
Thank you.
We're excited. I know a member of my household is beyond excited about the Racks by the Tracks festival that's getting ready to come up. So Kanishka, give us an overview of what's going to happen that day.
Absolutely. As you had mentioned from the top, it's a day of barbecue, craft beer, and phenomenal music. This is our 7th year now that we've done it. We had originally started the festival as a way to raise money for local nonprofits, and to date we've raised over $30,000 for 5 local nonprofits.
That's great.
Absolutely. And so what we really look to do is keep a family fun day. You know, Racks has grown to become one of the largest single-day events in the region. And so you can come enjoy some of the best barbecue from area restaurants and teams. We're going to have over 25 competitors. You get to vote in that as well. We're going to have over 40 beers that you can sample from. And then we're going to have 11 hours of fantastic music that day.
Well, a big reason 10,000 people come. Let's start with that first draw, and James, it's the food. It's that great and tasty barbecue. So tell us about all the food vendors that are going to be available that day.
This year, it's really amazing. Our food has exploded. We probably got...
In a good way.
Yes, in a good way. We probably got 75 applications for food vendors this year, from between barbecue and non-barbecue vendors. So we've got the most vendors we've ever had food-wise coming this year, but what's really neat is we've got the most new vendors we've ever had. So we've probably got 15 to 20 vendors who have never been at Racks before. So a lot of good barbecue, and I think it's going to be one of our best competitive years we've ever had.
That's wonderful, and I know that the people who are there are happy to participate in that competition, sample all the food, and let you all know what they think about it. You're also going to have a great selection of craft beer available that day too.
Yeah, that's a big part of the festival, and it's something that for the craft beer tasting event, you will need a ticket for that, and those tickets are $40. But we also have a special high gravity area that we brought in last year, and it was a huge success. We only offer 500 of those tickets. They're $50, and as soon as they sell out, we're done. We only offer 500, and those give you 10 beers that are above the 6.0% alcohol limit. So it's the high gravity is a real growing market, and so we kind of feature some of those at the festival. But yeah, we'll have over 45 beers this year. And from all over the world, we'll have 7 beers that will only be featured at Racks by the Tracks. They won't be anywhere else, so you can try them there. And then if they're real popular, we've had a couple breweries to say if they're real popular, we might make seasonal beers out of them. So the beer is a cornerstone of the event, and it's really growing as well.
Since you're going to have the high gravity beer area and you're going to have that many beers for people to sample, maybe this is when you might want to mention about the free shuttle service that's going to be available.
Yes, we actually have a deal with Meadowview Marriott in Kingsport, and what we do is if you go to racksbythetracks.com, we have ticketing packages, and not only can you buy low gravity and high gravity and concert tickets, but we also have hotel packages. And you can get those for high gravity and low gravity. They include a night at Meadowview and 2 tickets. And there is a free shuttle that runs back and forth from Meadowview to the festival. And you have the phone number. You call whenever you're ready to go, or you call whenever you're ready to be brought to the festival. And if you're at the festival and decide you want to stay, you can hop on that shuttle and they'll take you over to Meadowview.
It's great.
A wonderful addition. And Kanishka, in addition to enjoying all that great barbecue and all that great beer, people can hear a great lineup of a number of musical acts and headliners that day. Let's start with your great lineup of all the bands.
We kick the day off at noon with regional favorites, the Twang Bangers. They're a really fun band. They're kind of a mix of rock and country, and they're playing a special 2-hour set for us. They're a crowd favorite. They're one of the biggest draws in the region, so we're just so excited they're kicking the festival off. After the Twang Bangers, we are featuring an up-and-coming artist. He's a country artist from Georgia. His name's Lance Stinson. He's open for artists like Luke Bryan and others, and so he's playing at 2:30. After that, we have a truly rising country star called Matt Stillwell. He's open for Blake Shelton, Jason Aldean, and others. He played at Bristol Motor Speedway and other places all around the U.S., and he just released a new album. He's out of Nashville. And then from there, we have Folk Soul Revival, which is rootsy Americana music. They're a big draw, a huge live draw. They're actually voted Virginia's top band. They won some great accolades from their tourism department in Virginia. And then after the headliner, we actually have Catfish Fry Band, who is kind of a great boogie party band with on the blues side. That's going to be a time for people to be able to dance and others.
Sure.
Well, let's give the big reveal now, because of all those groups, not enough. You've got a big major headliner, big artist coming to town. Tell us about that.
This year we are so happy to announce that we have booked country star and legend Joe Diffie. Joe Diffie is the artist behind songs like John Deere Green, Pickup Man. He has...
You want to hum a few bars?
That's right. He has over 20 top 10 singles.
Yeah.
He's won Grammys. And our tickets have been selling 3 times faster than they have ever been to see Joe Diffie.
Well, now that we've teased everybody about what you're going to offer and why they have to be there, and this is the place to be on May the 17th, how do they get there? Where are the tickets? Where do they get more information? How do they know about the packages? That sort of thing.
Absolutely. So the primary way for you to get more information is racksbythetracks.com.
Okay.
We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/racksbythetracks. And if you'd rather buy a ticket in person, you can go to any Food City store location. That's not just Kingsport, that's not just in the Tri-Cities, any Food City location, whether in Kentucky, Virginia, or Tennessee. So racksbythetracks.com or Food City location.
Just guessing, people probably want to get their tickets in advance.
Yes, so the craft beer tasting has sold out now for 5 years in a row.
That's great.
And so we absolutely encourage people to buy their tasting ticket well in advance. And the tasting ticket is just $40 for the low gravity and $50 for that exclusive high gravity ticket. Both of those will sell out. They've sold out for 5 years. And concert tickets are $10. And if you wait till the day of, they're $15. So go ahead, buy your tickets in advance.
Sure.
Another great day ahead with
Yeah,
Racks by the
exciting.
Tracks. Kanishka Bendanda and James Phillips, thanks for joining us. And congratulations again on putting together what promises to be another great and fun festival.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, guys.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to tell you about a very important civics education project launched here in Tennessee about the impartial judiciary right after this.
Your Kingsport Chamber of Commerce Golf Scramble tees off Monday, May 12th at Ridgefield's. Tee times are 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. with great awards and whole prizes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner provided. Enjoy playing this Donald Ross masterpiece and support your Kingsport Chamber. Contact your Kingsport Chamber at 392-8800 or go to kingsportchamber.org. Your Kingsport Chamber Golf Scramble Monday, May 12th at Ridgefield's. Sponsored by Food City, Pepsi, Hunter Smith and Davis, and WKPT TV ABC 19.
And welcome back to your Kingsport ChamberZone on location from the American Red Cross.
Well, as we mentioned in the open, it is an election year here, which is great. That means you get an opportunity to get out and exercise your right to vote. For residents of Tennessee, that means that you also get to vote on who you'd like to have as your local judge, as well as whether to retain some of the members of the appellate court system here in Tennessee. Tennessee was selected to be one of 8 states to engage in a civics education program called the Informed Voters Fair Judges Project, which is meant to educate the public about why it's important that we have an impartial judicial system. So here to tell us more about it are 2 gentlemen who know all about the importance of that impartial judicial system, Dan Coughlin and Bob Arrington. Dan is a member of the Bristol law firm of Massengill, Caldwell, and Coughlin, and is also a member of the Tennessee Committee for the Informed Voters Project. Dan, welcome.
Thank you, Laura.
And
Glad to be
Bob,
here.
well, we're glad to have you. And then Bob, of course, is a past president of your Kingsport Chamber. He may look familiar to some of you all. He is also a shareholder with the Kingsport firm of Wilson, Worley, Moore, Gamble, and Stout, and was previously involved in the Tennesseans for Fair and Impartial Courts. Bob, welcome.
Good morning.
So, Dan, we're going to start with you. Since the Informed Voters Project is new to Tennessee, why don't you give our audience an overview of that project?
Generally, it's a nonpartisan joint project nationally of the National League of Women Voters, as well as the National Association of Women Judges, I believe it is, and it's being implemented in Tennessee by our coordinating committee, and it's aimed at informing and educating voters about judges in the court system.
And Bob, as Dan said, the goal is to help voters have a better grasp and understanding of the role judges play, not only in the court system and government, but also in society. So why is that so important for the voter before they go in that voting booth to have that understanding?
Bob, I think it's very important that voters understand what judges do and what they're not supposed to do. For example, about 3 years ago, there was an election for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court that we followed. One of the candidates at a rally with a bunch of people cheering shouted out, "Together we can transform Wisconsin." It ought to terrify people that a judge is running on transforming anything. It's fine for Barack Obama to want to transform the United States. That's what presidents do. It's fine for Jim Haslam to want to transform Tennessee. Judges should just be good, fair, and impartial decision makers. That's what their role in our society is.
And Dan, I think a lot of people, maybe not consciously, but certainly associate the judicial system as something being separate and apart from the politics that we see. You don't normally see judges associated with a political party, for example. So part of this goal for the IVP is to continue that education and continue to stress to people why it's important that judges be free from that type of association, special interest, and that type of thing.
And I think that is probably one of the main goals of the IVP project nationally and in the state. Of course, in Virginia, the judges are all elected by the legislature, so the people in the voting booths don't vote directly for their judges. But here we have some sort of vote for all of our judges. And as you and Bob hit on, I think it's really important that voters realize that, as you said, there's 3 co-equal branches of government, and the judges are in the branch that's not supposed to be where they're advocating for one policy position, left, right, middle, or another, but trying to just simply be fair and impartial when they address the cases that are brought before their courts. and apply the facts to the law without any predisposed or preconceived notions of what should happen.
Sure.
And Bob, you've been heavily involved with Tennesseans for Fair and Impartial Court, so talk about some of those efforts to help with the Informed Voters Project.
Bob, when I went on the board of TFIC, as we call it, in 2010, it really did appear that there was a strong sentiment in the state legislature to go to partisan elections for appellate judges. I did not think that this was in the best interest of the people of Tennessee, that we needed to retain our system of the governor appointing our appellate judges with the people every so many years making a decision on whether to keep them or not. And we've worked pretty hard lobbying with the legislature and talking to a number of people, bar associations and business leaders and chambers of commerce about that, and we've been pretty successful. There is a ballot this fall about a constitutional amendment that would tweak a little bit the way that this appointive and retention system works. But the main things are going to be kept that we have now. And I just urge all the voters to inform themselves about this referendum and get out and vote to keep our system, because it's been good for Tennessee.
Sure.
Well, this is such an important and vital effort for our government and for our society and the way we live every day. So, Dan, if people wanted more information on the Informed Voters Project, where can they find that?
They can go to the IVP website, and on the home page, for example, I was going to mention, there's a video by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, formerly of the United States Supreme Court. It's just fantastic. It's under 5 minutes. I urge everyone listening to watch it and tell their friends to watch it. And it really outlines in sharp detail what we've been talking about here today.
Well, Dan Coughlin with the firm of Massengill, Caldwell and Coughlin, and Bob Arrington with Wilson Worley. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for what you all are doing to help educate our voters on the importance of electing the correct judges.
Yeah, thanks to both of y'all. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Stay tuned. We're
Appreciate
going to
it.
wrap up this episode of your Kingsport Chamber Zone right after this.
Your Kingsport Chamber of Commerce Golf Scramble tees off Monday, May 12th at Ridgeville's. Tee times are 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. with great awards and whole prizes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner provided. Enjoy playing this Donald Ross masterpiece and support your Kingsport Chamber. Contact your Kingsport Chamber at 392-8800 or go to kingsportchamber.org. Your Kingsport Chamber Golf Scramble Monday, May 12th at Ridgeville's. Sponsored by Food City, Pepsi, Hunter Smith and Davis, and WKPT TV ABC 19.
And welcome back to your Kingsport Chamber Zone from the American Red Cross. We have now moved to close our show here in this big storage room here at the American Red Cross. So you
It's
can
amazing all of the things that are in here.
It really is everything they need to help with disaster relief, to teach classes, to help with everyday basics, life's basic necessities, everything they do here locally in our community and worldwide. As a matter of fact, the American Red Cross has been in Kingsport now for nearly 100 years.
That's longer than we've been on the air.
I know, really. We've hit 100 episodes, haven't hit 100 years yet, but helping our friends and neighbors for nearly 100 years with their incredible work. So thank you to the American Red Cross.
Yes.
Again, for more information, if you want to donate, volunteer to the American Red Cross anytime during the year, not just only when disaster strikes,
They're always at work.
redcross.org. Go to redcross.org. And we want to thank them for hosting us today, and want to thank our great team at Charter Media for producing your CZ.
They are fab. We also want to let you know that to find out what's going on in Kingsport, the Kingsport Chamber always welcomes you to come pay a visit at their office on Clinchfield Street. You can also call them 392-8800. You can go to the website kingsportchamber.org. You can check them out on Facebook. You can follow them on Twitter. And you can also just watch us, because we're usually pretty on top of what's happening here in Kingsport, and we'd love to have you as part of our audience.
Once people tell us what's happening in Kingsport,
Then we can tell you.
We
Yes.
can tell you.
Then we're on top of what's happening in Kingsport.
We do know there's a golf tournament coming for your Kingsport Chamber of Commerce on Monday, May 12th. Just call your Kingsport Chamber at 392-8800 or go to kingsportchamber.org and sign up your team.
Benefits a lot of the programs of the Kingsport
does.
Chamber. Very worthwhile cause. Don't forget, exercise your right to vote. May 6th is when you have an opportunity to let your voice be heard, so please don't be silent on that day.
And don't forget Racks by the Tracks, that craft beer, barbecue, and music all day long on Saturday, May 17th. Get your tickets at any food city.
Or racksbythetracks.com.
in several states, or racksbythetracks.com. And until our next CZ visit with you, we are Bob and Laura reminding you to please be loyal
And buy local. Have a great week.